Well, good Saturday morning. It's a little after 6 a.m. I've been out here for, I don't know, hour. So, I go back to working on that 2002 Chevrolet pickup over here to my right-hand side. Whoa, Mountain Dew. I need it today. So, I got the rear end put in, we got the U-bolts on, we got brake calipers, rotors, all that stuff on. I need to do drive shaft, check oil, put brake lines on it, put tires on, get this thing out of here because we need to get it on the trailer, on the backhaul, and we need to get it back to the owner, and then I need to go pick up some machinery for the farm. Woo! All right. I'm jonesing a little bit today. I don't know. Felt good getting up early. I probably should do it more often. I don't know. So, this is the line off the driver's side. I'm going to just show you how I duplicate lines. In this instance, you can go and buy the pre-cut, pre-flared fittings and then bend it and all that shit and kind of half-ass it. We're going to try to duplicate that as close as we possibly can. These are the fittings that came out of it. So, what I like to do is take light grip on the threads, just light, real light. You can see where I cut the back of it off. That way we got full length minus the fitting. So it's flared, it doesn't fit through the hole. Now you can see it's round. It will fit through the hole. So we grab a little bit of a punch over here, approximate size. And see if we can pop it out of there. Some instances, we'll have to take it, drill it out. Not a huge deal. So we grab drill, bits, good set of bits, 3/16 line. Maybe we go 11/64s, just to give us a little leeway. Now it wants to spin in that on the threads. We don't want to be damaging up the threads too bad, so we'll go ahead and clamp on the hex portion. You can see the gnarly part sticking out right there. We'll have to probably clean the threads up with a file just a little bit, but we using my old service cart from work here. Mountain Dew. Oh, that's good today. See if we can drive that out. Maybe not. Maybe we're looking for a new fitting. I do have some new fittings laying around, but we'll see. Let's see. See if a fella can Pop that out of there. And you can. I just want to go make sure I can. I think that'll be okay. We're going to hit it with a file just real quick. Just light with a file. What I'm going to do is go over the fitting on the line, make sure it'll thread in there on the hose, and then I'll bring it back and we'll verify that it does work. Okay, so it will in fact thread in there. No issues. On the hex portion, I like to take and polish it up a little bit. You don't have to get all dramatic about it, but there we go, we got that. Now we got our roll here. This is copper nickel alloy. It's not steel brake line. Steel brake line rusts out. It'll be back in a year again. It's a little more expensive, just you're really trying to pinch pennies. I mean, you can go with the steel brake line. Customer's gonna want this thing fixed and work correctly. So now, slide that on there. This is what's called a double flare. So we have our double flaring tool. This thing hasn't been used in a while. The new coated brake lines on the newer vehicles actually do hold up pretty darn well. Where's my mandrel? I just dug it out. All right, so we got our little 3/16 mandrel there. What can I say? You ever have one of them days? Well, it's turning into one of them days for me, so. So our tool clamps on. You want to loosen the furthest side away from you up. Get this one on there, the one closest to it, and tighten that one first. So that first little step on there, that's how you measure how far you want your line sticking out on the, then I got the tool on there backwards. God, Rick, come on. So I like to go just a little bit beyond the like maybe less than a 16th. Then you take your, oh, why is that stuck? That shouldn't be stuck. Bro, condensation a couple of times here in transport. Okay, so you got your mandrel in, you got the flaring tool. You want to turn that all the way down until the mandrel hits the base. Back it off. I like to kind of just a couple times back and forth just to make sure. Now I can show you here. Oh, our fitting get too far away. Looks like that on the end. Mandrel out, flaring tool back on, and this is why they call it a double flare, because you flare it once with the mandrel, and then you flare it the second time with the conical part of the flaring tool. This copper nickel alloy really actually works nice. It flares nice. It's much easier to work than steel. So we loosen up both of these. Flip that one back. Take your line off. you can bend this much nicer too. Sometimes this tool, because it's not worn too much yet, it'll deform your line just a little bit. So you guys gotta take a file and touch up your jaw marks in it. You just want it to spin on there nice and free. Like that. Nice. 'Cause otherwise, when you go to hook this line back up, you're going to have issues. Okay. So now we want to get into duplicating this line, right? So I match the back of my cut up to the back of that fitting, because that's where I cut it off from. And we'll start bending from there. And everything I'm going to do is going to be bent by hand. And just double check your bends as you go. Make sure you're not kinking the line. If you kink the line, well, you're starting over. Copper nickel has a little bit more forgiveness. And don't get too stressed out right away about your it being exactly perfect right out of the gate, because you can make small adjustments as you go. That, like this one needs to be twisted a little bit, so you can just put a little twist in it. Keep on going. It's on what level do you match up, that becomes a little bit of an issue, because you can only match so many angles before Okay, so I don't know how well I can show you this, but that is pretty darn close. We'll need some final tweaking and tuning, and we'll get this line installed, but first we gotta flare it. All right, so we're down underneath this truck, and these Chevys are good for this brake line pack. I'm gonna call it a pack. They run all the lines together from the master cylinder up there. Two of them come down, then two of them go back to the front wheels, one goes back to the rear axle. Customer is interested in having the line replaced to the rear axle. Well, I'll show you the problem underneath here. If you look at the line closest to the frame, that is the one that wraps up and goes around to the rear axle. If I touch any of those other ones,
they're gonna disintegrate as well. And we're just gonna have a leaking issue that continues to be a problem, because these ones out here are in just as bad a shape, and those are the ones that go to the master cylinder and the front wheels. So the reality is, realistically, we'd have to do them all. Because I know how this goes, and I already gave him a quote on it. So right now I'll take off the cost for the line going down the frame. I'm gonna return the truck to the customer and we can reschedule. This thing also needs some front end work. We jacked up the front end. It needs some tie rod ends, things like that, and that's not stuff that he absolutely has to do right now. But we can see the tire wear here. I'll grab the light again. Guy wants to throw a jack underneath there and verify it for himself. Yeah, it's you can see the uneven tire wear and whatnot. It's only getting used as a plow truck. It's not a huge deal. So I guess it's kind of pick your battles at this point. We got the ones on the rear axle fixed because they were both bad anyway. I mean, they were on the verge of failure. I mean, you can see how scaly and junk they were anyway, but I don't know if we want to let sleeping dogs lie on this. Talk to the customer and we'll find out. They had mentioned maybe finding a fender for it, so maybe we can coordinate something there with if I can find him a fender and can make it a half decent looking truck again. Make it, I mean, not that it's a bad looking truck, but he didn't like the black fender on there, so. Yeah, we're gonna call her quits right there. Shocks, drive shaft, bleed the brakes, and put the tires on. We gotta get on the road. So that axle support fixture actually works pretty well, and the adaptability of it, I think it'll actually get used quite a bit. Light duty, it's only 10 pounds. I mean, it's not heavy gauge steel, but for what I'm doing, it doesn't have to be. Regular jack pad back there. Back underneath the differential. We did check gear oil in it. It's good to go. So basically, all we got left now is to put tires on, torque the wheels, take this thing for a drive. Alright, things to look for on the test drive. Bearing noise. It's going to be hard to tell on the gravel road, so we're going to get out on the highway. Brake pedal feel, brake shake. This one, we already know the front end's loose on it, and you can tell that the right side has some more significant loose components because she's got a pretty good pull to the right. I did already set tire pressures as courtesy service. So you got a car coming a ways off down there. I'll let them go by because we're gonna do brake test and all that stuff. We're not gonna really pile into the brakes because A, they're not new, and B, I'm not gonna be putting that line on today. Oh, no, we got another one. Perfect. Okay, now we can go. Yay! So this, you can tell this this one's far better than the other one already, because it doesn't sound like a bunch of rocks inside a dryer. The noise you hear there is in the front end. It's the front tires being chopped from loose components. Throttle tip in and acceleration. I want to listen for noises there, just to see if there's any whoop, whoop, anything like that. Or when you let off, it goes grrr. Well, that means your pinion bearings are bad. So this one sounds good. I mean, I don't hear anything in it that concerns me, so that's a good deal. Brake test. No, you don't get the up and down shaking. If you get it in the steering wheel like that, that's front brakes, but you're looking for to see if you got any pulsation, or you start feeling it in the brake pedal and not the steering wheel, then you either got stuff underneath your rotors, which I cleaned the hubs on it. Clean the back of your rotors, clean your hubs, and install them. But if you got rust in between or a piece of debris when you were putting the rotor on, then you'll feel a vibration there. So highway speed seems like it drives okay for, you know, the rear end. The front end, you can see the steering wheel's off. We're floating around because it's got loose components. You can pretty much do that and not go anywhere. That's not uncommon, trust me. I've drove a lot of vehicles that are that way, so I'll address it with the customer, but for now, we're done with this one. All right, guys, couple final notes on that job. Brake lines, I know it's some people, they don't care. They're running from brake line from point A to point B, and they don't care what's in between. And if they got a brake line that's too long, especially on the pre-cut, pre-flared ones, they just put a big loop in it in the middle somewhere, making a big hunchback until it shortens it up enough to get there. I like to cut them to length, bend them to factory, to mock the factory route, and it just looks more, it looks more professional. It looks clean. You get under there, it looks decent. It is what it is. Again, with the lines that's going to the front, that's something I got to address with the customer and see how much, you know, maybe they want to let her buck until the line pops. Maybe not. Maybe they want to do something with the front end. Maybe not. That's all things that are up to them, and we can certainly get it back, schedule the work for them again. Let them, you know, maybe they want to recoup from the price of this repair a little bit. I completely understand all of those things. So if you guys want to see more or less of something, I try to hit the highlights, but if there's something more you want to see or something less you don't want to see it again, I don't know, whatever. If you guys like what I'm doing, throw me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, ring the bell, get my notifications. Memberships are down there if you want one, and I do appreciate it because it helps out on the channel. We'll see you guys on the next one.